Cool. Aloha, everyone. Welcome to Elevate and Activate with Sheila and Jan. I'm Sheila Hay coming to you from Maui on this amazing February 9th. Jan, my amazing co-host, welcome, welcome.
Good morning, everyone. I am so excited to be here and to have Ivory Sully with us, ex-NFL football player. But Sheila will be handling this whole thing because her knowledge of football blows me away, and I know very little. So I'm just here to let people in and smile.
Oh,
Do what I do
Jan,
best.
you know you'll interact with Ivory and I. Come on. And I would like to welcome Mr. Ivory Sully. He is a 9-year NFL veteran football. And what impresses me, one of the most about your amazing career, Ivory, was when you graduated in 1979 from University of Delaware, you were a walk-on at LA Rams. They picked you up, but you were a starting running back. And tell everyone, sir, what happened instead of being a running back.
Well, yes. Hi, Sheila. Thank you so much, Jan. Hello, everybody. God bless you, and thank you for having me. I was a running back. I scored touchdowns in my whole college career. I've never played or backpedaled one step. I stepped on to the field in Los Angeles, and they saw that I was fast. I ran a 4.27 40, which is, was just very, 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 very
Very
good,
fast.
even back in those days. And so they had to make a decision. They had these guys named Lawrence McCutcheon and Wendell Tyler, and oh my God, these running backs that were just outstanding and unbelievable, and I wasn't going to be breaking it in. So what they did was they gave me an opportunity to stick to the team, and they gave me an opportunity to play defense. I went after the day that Ray Malavasi, who was our head coach, he called me into his office. He told me what the change was going to be. I took that information and was at lunchtime after the first practice of the two-a-days when we started training camp. And I took that information back to the room with me. I cried my ass off. I was pissed off. And I said, okay, well, I got no choice, right? If I want to be a Ram, it's going to be a DB. So I started the transition right then and there. And well, the one thing that I could do was I could take my anxiety out on a lot of people. So playing defense, I loved it. And so I happened to be pretty astute at that. And here we are today, 9 years after my career, and living a very nice life.
And I do believe that you earned yourself uh, a personal nickname being one of the best defensive backs, Mr. Hit. Is
Well,
that
okay, there you go. That's what I look that, and I didn't give myself that name. Trust me, I didn't. I actually, I wanted to. That afternoon when I went out to the second practice, I got in a fight with somebody. I don't even know who it was anymore, but I was just riled up and ready to go and saying, "You're not going to take this chance from me." And so I was like right down to the nitty gritty. Let's go. Okay, you guys going to do that to me? Then you guys are going to get what you get, and that's what it is. And that's kind of the way I am as a person, anyway. I used to score touchdowns, but not now. It wasn't that dainty. Now it was like I'm running right through guys, and I'm going to make you notice me. You can't not notice me. And they did. So I was very happy about that.
you had a 180-degree flip, really, right? From running away from them to running into them, stopping them, containing them. And that leads me to, we know you here because you're a member of LifeWave. And I would like to talk about, please, some of those early experiences that you had as Mr. Hit. Um, you told me once about dings. Can you share? We have an even bigger audience Ivory, than when it was me and you, when Jan wasn't with us that time. And so I'm excited for all these other people. Jan, you're the draw. Um, to come and listen to this. But Ivory, could you share about, I mean, you hit hard. What physically happened to you? And this is, we're talking 80s, early 80s. We're talking what is this, 43 years ago now. I imagine that the equipment was not nearly as good. What would happen to you physically when you would stop someone?
Well, I'll tell you, the equipment actually during the time that I played actually had taken a step up when I got to the Rams for whatever reason. We used to have those old Rydell helmets at college, and it had like some cloth things that would fit your forehead and everything, and it was just a suspension type of a helmet that didn't have any pads in it at all, just a suspension helmet with plastic, and then you have your suspension hat, and that didn't protect anything or anybody. The days that I played were a totally completely different set of situation than they have now today. They actually have a tent now that you can go to when you have a concussion or you have an injury, and they can analyze you and see if you're hurt, and if you're hurt, then you stay out. If you're not hurt, you get back. This is the way it was when I played. How do you feel? How many fingers am I holding up? And if you say three, I say, okay, you're good. Let's go back in the game. All right, so there you go. That's the way it used to be. And I'm telling you, I tell you that some of my teammates, I've seen people get completely knocked out. They had to carry them off the field. They were back in a couple of series. They were back on the field playing. And I remember having to tell one of my teammates who actually got knocked out, during a game. It was in St. Louis, and it was in Tampa Bay. And I had to give him the calls. I had to tell him where to go. I had to tell him how to get there. I had to tell him what to look for, what the keys were, the whole thing. He was absolutely just a physical specimen on the field with no mental capacity whatsoever, completely knocked out the whole game. So there's a big difference in what we've got today and what we had back then. Okay, a ding. What is a ding? A ding is when you ring-a-ling-a-ling, because literally the helmet's what you would have ringing in your ear. That's the way it was. So they called it a ding. They started getting these pads put in the helmet. Bike, the helmet company Bike, they were the first ones that I had that gave me really good suspension, and I had really confidence in the fact that I wasn't going to get hurt. Okay, that happened. All right, so the fact of the matter is that, the dings got a little bit less, but, in my whole career, I was only knocked out cold once. And the other times when you get hit, you would get hit, but then you would still play the game. You'd still be in the game, and you'd be shaking it off probably for 3 or 4 plays, and you just try to get to the next side. So those are the circumstances that I played under, which is completely different than it was now today.
And was it 87 or 89 you blew up a shoulder?
No, it was 87.
87.
It was 1987, and I was with the Detroit Lions, my last year, and I blew my shoulder out. It came out of socket, and it wouldn't stay in. It kept clicking out. And so I sat out the rest of that game, the fourth quarter, and actually then thereafter, I missed one game. So in the 9 years that I played, I missed one game, and it came in my 9th year at Detroit, and it was because my shoulder wouldn't stay in socket. And so, so I had that issue. So I had issues with regard to a lot of my body, but I was always good enough to stay in it. And that's probably one of the reasons why they like me, is because I had this quote unquote toughness about me that, I could be dependent on.
A tenacity, right? Where you just were going to be like a bulldog and do it.
That's right. And shut up. Don't complain. Just get it done. That's right. Yeah, absolutely. I also was one. I played free safety, so I had a lot of the responsibilities for calling the defense and doing the checks and everything like that, and giving alerts as to motion and whatever it might be. I had to be the guy to tell it to transfer that information. So while you're, let me tell you something. It's definitely a challenge when your head is ringing and you're trying to and you're giving all the quotes and you're giving all the adjustments. That is not easy. And they keep you in the game. There was no taking me out. There's no reason to, because I was the guy with the information. So they kept me in as long as they could.
And that just was mind blowing. And I was going to ask you, they keep you in that situation. They do. What, I mean, first you have to be super physical and not just be physical, but what's the word I'm looking for? Fit. You have to be super fit at a high level of that. And I mean, I don't know how many plays there are in a football game, but when you look at the guys holding the thing, there's a ton, and you have to retain all of that, right, for your defensive capabilities, and then disseminate that to your players. Is that correct?
That's right. You got it. That's exactly what my responsibility was. I had to get the information. I looked after a play was over. I get up after the tackle or whatever it is. I'd look to the opponent's sideline. I'd see the personnel that was either coming in or going out. I'd have to analyze that to see who that is, because there are keys when you have certain personnel in the game as to what package you're going to go to into defense. And so in doing that, I had to make sure that I had my eye on the sideline right after I was either involved in a tackle or a hit or something. A lot of times that little ding mechanism was going on, but I made it through. I got through it and I did it. And because I had to, because that's the way the game used to be played. Now they have these things, these things in your ear that they speak to you. And it's for crying out loud. What the heck? We were Neanderthal, for crying out loud. It was like they're asking a whole bunch of me here. It's like, but yeah, that's the way the game used to be played.
Well, so can you share? I do want to talk more football with you, but can you share what, so you had the shoulder injury, you had all these concussion dings. Gosh, and you know me in numbers, Ivory, but, but didn't you have like 100 concussions or something like that?
No, no,
No.
no.
Okay.
That would not be accurate. No.
Okay.
What
Some
I would
other
call
person.
what I would call and what the medical staff would call a concussion, I probably had maybe a half a dozen. Okay.
Okay.
That's
Okay.
when you're concussed, they have to sit you out and you have to wait for a few plays. You have to just sit your butt down and get, and get a little sense of where you are and what you're doing, Literally, they would tell me, I mean, we played a Monday Night Football game against the Atlanta Falcons, and I was running down in a kickoff, and man, this guy blindsided me from this side, and I used to never get blindsided, and I was really pissed at the end of the game, but he caught me real good. And it was like he caught me, and then I went into what we call a wedge, because there's 3 or 4, big guys that are coming out at you, and the guy with the ball is behind them. And me and my cohort, my roommate back in the day, George Andrews, we went and we blew that daggone thing up. But the thing about it is I woke up and I looked at the surroundings, wondering where I am. It was dark. It was nighttime. I said, "Where am I, for crying out loud?" And then I looked, and at the Coliseum they have palm trees. I said, "How did I get to Florida? What palm trees? And where am I? I'm in Florida." Ivory, you missed it by about 3,500 miles. You know what I mean? And so they had to come get me. Okay, they just said, "Ivory, just stay down. Just stay down." Those type of episodes, I probably had two or three of those episodes.
Okay.
Yeah.
My
Yeah.
apologies. I don't know where I pull some of these numbers out of my brain. Like you said earlier to Jan, he's my Superman.
God bless you. I hope I can help people with some information so that they can start taking care of themselves. That's why.
I have a question.
Yes.
I want to know how did you learn about the patches? So tell us that story and what they've done for you.
There's a young lady by the name of Marcy Preble, who I could not get away from because she was such a nice lady and she was talking my ear off. We were at a convention. And we're sitting down, and everybody's sitting down. And I had a seat next to me, and I saw Marcy looking around for a seat. I said, "Come on, Marcy, you can sit. Come on, young lady, you can sit down here next to me." Man, I'm telling you, what a great way to get introduced to this product and to this science and this equation, which will give me relief from what I'm ailing with. And that's the way I got introduced to the product. And then the premise of what the product was all about really was significant to me, because I don't want to be one of those guys that depends on prescription. I'm not that guy. I'm a naturalist. I like natural ways of getting through things, as I did, as much as I could when I played, but I could have been one of those guys to pop a pill, every game, and but that's just not how I was brought up. My dad was a doctor, and he told me you have to take responsibility for prescriptions when you take them, and don't get crazy. Okay. And so I always had that in the back of my mind. So this thing fit perfect for me. And the opportunity to deal with certain of my ailments that had followed me after I had retired from football. And so I was just really happy. Like, for example, I'll give you an example. That shoulder that I told you about, and the other thing is the sleep that I was getting, that's the biggest thing, period. Because obviously when you sleep, your body goes through the transition and healing process that you need. And that's why you need to get sleep. And so I was all of a sudden, I was not getting sleep for years. And all of a sudden, when I started dealing with with the patches, it was like I was sleeping through the night. And it was like my daughter would come in the room and have to shake me to wake me up. And I'm saying, wow, okay, now I'm feeling good. Now I got my energy back. And so that's how it started, the sleep thing breaking up for me. But then the issues that I had with my shoulder, which, look, I used to put the patch right on behind C7, below C7, and I just recognized an absence of the pain. There was no more pain. And that's the best thing. I say, this can't be, this is not right. I'll give this thing about another couple of weeks and I'll be ailing again. And it didn't ail anymore. I was throwing a football. I was doing everything that I wanted to do. I was playing golf. I was amazed. So that's why you can't get rid of me now. Sorry, Jan. I'm here with you. Sorry, Sheila. You're not going to get away from me.
Yay!
It's funny because when I remember the first time, I know you met Marcy at that convention, but then COVID hit and I was laying on the bed in her office and I listened to her call you on the phone, and I would listen to the conversation. And that's when she offered you some patches, and that's when I said, "Oh, I'll do that for you." And that was the beginning of me mailing out patches to everybody. I remember that day like yesterday.
Wow. So Ivory is the beginning of that. Another kudo to you, sir. So
Okay.
Ivory, what has it done for the Dings for, after I'm just going to imagine, because we know Junior Seau, we don't know all these gentlemen that have had serious issues and things. How can you tell us about after football? How did you experience? Because you had concussion, your brain rattled around in your head.
Yeah.
What happened? And then how has wearing the patch changed that?
Well, the patch, it's like I said, with the sleep came the return of my memory. And with the return of my memory came the ability to do things and challenge myself with my brain that I hadn't and didn't have to for a long time, but started doing again. And so, things like being on the computer. Okay, on the computer is a challenge sometimes when you're like in the fog. It's called the fog. Okay. And so you're thinking about this stuff and you say, I've done this thousands of times, but I can't remember how to freaking change it from an Excel file to a PDF. And I'm like, whoa, what's going on? And when the sleep came, the memory came back. That's the biggest thing for me. That right there is a huge thing because look, let's be honest about it. As we age, we're all going to age. We're all going to grow old. Some things are going to go and quit on us. And so I have a good quality of life. And that the thing about it is it's the quality of life. We're all going the same place, okay, at the end of the day. But let's have some fun before we get there. I just don't, I'm so happy that I'm not struggling through it, that I'm actually, I have an attitude. I'm happy to be here. I'm talking. I think I'm making some full sentences, and speaking is a big thing, and I enjoy that's who I am. I'm an energy guy. I'm a high energy guy, and I didn't have energy for a long, long time. I just didn't.
And how is your family reacting to this re-energized Ivory? How does that
Well,
affect them?
well, I mean, I've got to tell you, my daughters, it really it took a toll on them when they were really young, a little bit because I was not in a good mood. I wasn't a guy in a good mood. Things have happened in my life that have changed my life through that stuff, and uh, from negative to like being irritable all the time. If you're a dad and you're being irritable all the time, what are you teaching? You're just teaching somebody how to be irritable so that they're going to be copying what I'm doing, for crying out loud. That's a huge thing to me because I really believe my gift is that I help people. I try to help people. I'm involved in a lot of different things with regard to helping people. Like, for example, the Super Bowl this Sunday. I'm going to go down and sign some autographs so that, in support of our veterans that are coming off the ship in San Diego and are in line guys that are still, on the, in this services. I'm there to support them because they're serving me. I will serve them signing autographs. That's a good ask, right? So the problem is that I was not being the best father that I could be. That's big. And when your head is not in it, it's hard to pull it back and pull it in. Okay. A lot of other things happen in our family that, I just, I'm not going to go into right now, but I'll tell you, since my mind is back, so are my relationships. And I am experiencing a rejuvenation of the family, and I'm really so glad that you asked that question because it really makes me happy that I can be there for my kids and my wife. It makes me. I'm sorry, excuse me. You're
No.
not supposed to do this. I wear my heart on my. I wear my heart on my sleeve. Why are you doing that to me?
I love you, Ivory.
I love you, Ivory. Because I wish people to realize that wearing this patch can take us way beyond the individual.
That's
I
right.
just got goosebumps thinking about it. I mean,
Yeah.
being able to interact joyfully with your family,
Yes,
what a gift.
that's right. That's the
What
first.
a gift. So, we've got a question here. How long have you been wearing the patch? And do you wear more than the X39?
I do. And Jan, it's been what has it been 3 years or four? How long?
It's been 4
Four
years.
4 years. And those 4
Mhm.
years have gone like it was yesterday.
Right.
Holy cow. Yeah, 4 years. And what was the second part of your question?
What other patches do you use?
I use the Ice Wave.
Ice Wave.
I use X49 and I use X39 along with Aeon sometimes. And so that's my package. The thing that I'm working on right now, and it's working, and I'm so happy it is my left knee. My left knee that was when I was younger, that in track, that's my start leg. So that's the one that takes off. That's the one that jumps. It's the one that, I elevate my game to. That's basically the things that started all my athletic moves with my left leg. Well, it's gone to bone on bone, and I have arthritis there. And so that's where I'm experiencing the latest go round here to recovery. And it's when it starts happening, and when you don't feel anything that you've been feeling for months, it's like, oh, thank God, it's happening. It's happening. So the cartilage is gone, but the protein that generates the lubricant to help the joint move without it being bone on bone, it's happening. It's coming. I'm losing that pain, and I'm gaining more mobility. I'm riding a bike now as I want to, however many miles I can ride. And it's fantastic without pain. So there's a progression to this, and it's just progressing on. And I'm really happy about that. I got to be honest about it, man. I'm really happy about the knee.
Ivory, the knee is the prime reason. And you and I must have really honestly started right around the same time on them, because I'm on 4 years, and 4 in a couple of months now. But I don't have an ACL or any cartilage, and they removed all the scar tissue. And what you just said about when you realize that all of a sudden, wait, that normal pain is remediated or relieved, released, whatever level, because I have some days where it's really good, and then there's some tougher days. But some people are just throwing in chat, and I caught the word out the corner of my eye, and I don't know if you've heard about this yet, but there's the concept of using Eon and glutathione, one on the outside, one on the inside of the knee, which is what I just recently started doing. I believe I heard David Schmidt say it. And it's I always get it mixed up. I have to look at the picture, but I think the glutathione goes on the inside of the knee, and the outside, Eon on the outside. Somebody just said. Yep, that's what so just something to think about and consider. And I just started doing that about a month ago on a more consistent basis. And yeah, there is help for us people with knees. And
you said glutathione's on the inside and Aon's on the outside?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'm writing it down. Trust me. I'm with
ma'am. I was just taught the opposite. Can you hear me?
Yes, and yes.
I was just taught the opposite, and it was from David Schmidt. So now I think we need to double check.
Well,
Okay.
And what I would say is some people are saying Eon on the inside and glutathione on the outside. Okay,
That's correct. Yeah,
That's correct.
All right. There we go.
Sheila, the picture that I have that was being sent out has Aon on the inside, carcinine in the middle, and glutathione on the outside.
right.
I have a picture that was sent out.
Thank you for sharing
You're
that,
welcome.
Susan and Margaret. Thanks for your help, ladies. Yeah, so we want to help as many people out here as we can. And Jan, when you I don't remember which trip you were on, but it was September, and it was the Friday after the opening night that I got to chat with Ivory before. Do you remember that, Ivory? Opening football night. And what happened that night? Do you remember that devastating injury that happened on Thursday football of the opening year this year?
You have to refresh my memory. I'm
Aaron
sorry.
Rodgers blew his Achilles tendon, right?
Okay, here we are. All right, you have to forgive me. Look, I have respect for football players. Aaron, man, he's a chirp. He chirps. He's a quarterback. He chirps a lot. Anyway, I'm sorry.
He's a quarterback. That's right. And they do chirp. Well, my question, okay, I remember playing patch, no patch with you, and we decided he really had to be patched, right? And so I'm trying to think what month it was, but the Jets quarterback went down like maybe November or something, and the Jets, do you remember that?
Yep.
They put Aaron on 21-day practice schedule or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes.
Do you think, I kept telling my family and friends, he's using the patch. He's using the patch. There's no way you could recover from an Achilles and be out there that quickly
Look,
without something like this.
look, I told you, it's impossible. Not that ligament down there. You don't tear that and just come off it in a couple of weeks. It just doesn't happen. You need to have help, and you need to have help from the inside. Obviously, the theology of these patches is such that the stem cells it's a stem cell science that regenerates everything, those things in your body, which the thing that sold me. It would make absolute sense that's the reason why Aaron Rodgers came back so quickly. They kept saying it on the television, and I'm saying, man, they're stupid. They don't know what they're talking about. And they just kept saying he's better. They were thinking about putting him in and letting him play the last 2 weeks, which I said was impossible. But for them to even have that conversation is really astounding, you know. And so, yes, I'm very up on that. I'm very up with that.
You know, I heard one of the talking heads, you know, I don't remember which, because they were all talking about it back then in between, you know, halftime and when they could chat. But I do remember one of them saying something sort of like, yeah, it's some weird newfangled thing he's using to help him. And right there, to me, that was like patch.
That's right. There you go.
Yeah.
With you.
Amazing. So, Ivory, would you be willing to, because like I can totally monopolize a conversation about football, but will you be willing to take some questions from our audience?
I will definitely take some questions from the audience. If they feel as though I can help them, I'm here.
Okay, outstanding. Will this be uploaded before Sunday? Oh yeah, this show will be uploaded onto my my YouTube today, and then into Telegram and Facebook today. Okay, guys. Of course. Ivory, next to my interview with David Schmidt, Ivory, you are my #1 hit on YouTube. So
Thank you.
and I have so much fun with you. Anyway, okay, if you have a question, please raise your hand or put your name in chat. David, bring it on. He's going to ask you something about golf.
Oh yeah, sure. How's your golf game? No, has your vision improved? Any?
My vision?
Yeah.
My vision has held steady. I know it hasn't in 4 years. I haven't had to change my prescription. So I guess that's good. Maybe.
That's great. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm 66 years old. You know what I mean? And so, you know, it's all going to go to pot anyway. But for me to hold on for the last 4 years with my vision being the same, that's fantastic. I'm happy with that.
Yeah, I'd have to agree, because especially, you know, once you're past 60, I don't know. I think that it just goes quicker possibly. So, all right, Heidi Miller, what's your question for Mr. Ivory Sully?
Good morning. Can you hear me? Or good
Yes.
afternoon, actually.
Yes.
So
Hi.
I'm a motorcyclist and I've dropped my bike 3 times. My question is this, do you find that you wear your X39 better at night or during the day for your recovery from concussions?
Okay. That's a good question, actually. I actually am a proponent of wearing it through the night and taking it off at 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock in the morning.
So am I. I just needed to hear an athlete say that. I'm so happy that you wear it at night.
Yeah, I do. Well, it goes in accordance with the fact that I'm getting sleep. And so with sleep, there's the
Yes.
reparative quality of your body is in high use. And so let's put some stem cell up in there. I've had the most success with that. That's where I've had the most success.
So have I. I'm just so happy and so pleased that you answered my question. Thank you.
God bless you. God bless you.
Thank you, Heidi. Okay, so my sweet little sister.
Can I say something?
Sure.
You can, Mr. Bob Campbell. Do you know Ivory?
I know of Ivory.
Okay.
Ivory, I'm in Tampa. I remember.
Oh,
I don't know if you want to remember those days in Tampa,
the
but
the
yeah,
Lee
I remember
Bennett
you well,
days.
man. I
The Lee
remember you
Bennett
very
days.
well.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
Lee Bennett days
yeah.
were tough, man. I got to be honest with you.
I know.
Woo!
I know. So I didn't know whether to bring that up and upset you or not. No, I really didn't. I
Thanks,
followed you. I
Bob.
know. I saw you from day one when you were the Rams and stuff. So, yeah, awesome player. Awesome player. If you guys don't know. So, and I want to tell you something, Ivory. I had my left knee replaced and my right knee was scheduled for replacement. It was just bone on bone. And I got no relief for 6 months. Zero.
Oh,
Seventh
we're having
month.
an earthquake. I'm having an earthquake right now, you guys.
Oh my gosh.
Like my whole house is shaking. I'm upstairs. Woo!
Oh wow.
I wonder if the volcano erupted over on. It's still
Oh
going.
well.
Having a
Wow.
Well,
earthquake
if,
on the Big
if I may,
Island.
I'll just tell you,
It's just Bob
it's
Campbell. He's earth shaking.
it's well, it's 6 months. Ivory, no results whatsoever. In the 7th month, all the collagen grew back. My knee has been perfect. The stairs that I had to pull up one stair at a time for years.
Yeah.
It was 10 or 15 years ago. I run those stairs for exercise now with that knee.
You know what? That's very similar to my experience, and I don't know. I think maybe people might have different experiences in how they're healing, whatever they do. But you're right. I just was staying loyal to putting the patch on
Mhm.
a regular basis, and then all of a sudden, it's like I look up and I feel up down, and I'm like, holy cow, man, my knee doesn't hurt. It's like
Yeah.
it's exactly like that, and it does
Yeah.
take some time. And I am persistent, which is, I know, a good quality for certain things, not so good for others. But I'm persistent in getting the, and it happened just like that for me. God bless you. That's great to hear, man. That's great to
Yeah,
hear.
because that's a good lesson too. If I would have given up after 6 months, I'd still be struggling to walk up and down stairs. It's 7 months, no more issues whatsoever. That's been 3.5 years later.
That's great, man.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah. So congratulations to you too, man.
Thank you very much, and God bless you. And look, I love the Bucks, man. I love my time down there. It was a little bit rough, wins and losses, but hey, it was a great part of my career. I really enjoyed it.
Great. Glad to hear it. Thank you.
Thank you, Bob. So I think, well, my sister asks, besides increased sleep and better brain function, what other noticeable changes have you seen? And one of them is the knee that you just brought up here with Mr. Bob, right?
right.
Anything else that you've, I'm fascinated that you're wearing the X49. Have you noticed anything performance or stamina wise?
That would be true. One of the reasons why I started putting the X49 down right underneath my belly button, was I had a little bit of baby fat. Now I'm not doing so bad for a 66-year-old guy, but my body is a little bit different than most people's body. It's like I still have a lot of muscle and my little fatty, I call it my little pregnancy, it's right here. That's where all my fat is. And it's actually been going down. It actually has been going down. I also I'm pretty consistent in working out and staying in a little bit of shape, but absolutely a help in reduction of stamina. I mean, adding stamina and taking and reducing that little baby bulge that I got.
And so have you noticed in the last 4 years, is your like working out or playing any kind of athletic endeavor, do you feel like it has improved over the last 4 years from prior to right before?
Look, as we get older, it's like that. As we get older, I'm right here. I'm steady as a rock, man. I'm right there. I'm cool. Now, that wasn't that way before I started doing that. I just did not have the energy, the raw energy to get my sorry ass into the gym for crying. Just get it. Just get up and go. It's right down the hill. Just go. Couldn't do it. I do it now on a regular basis, and it's just because I got tired of it. And I started feeling better. I started sleeping. I started having energy. There's nothing more, nothing greater that could be a great component to this whole thing than the energy piece in it, man. It just gives me life. Okay, that's what it is. It's about life. I want to live my life. I don't want to sit and lay down my life. And this is why I really love this product, and it has helped me. I know it's helped me 1,000%.
Well, and you know what? I know that I was all jacked up and fangirling over you in our last conversation. You are even vibrating higher in this one, you know, and I don't know, what is that, 4 months, something like that? It was September.
I didn't want to scare you. I didn't want to scare you away the first time. That's what it was.
I'm a dragon. You can't scare me.
There you go.
Anybody else that has a question? Well, there is a question, okay? And it was put delicately to me privately. All right. And I'm going to delicately ask the question. Let me find it again. Oh, it says, I don't know how to ask it delicately, but I have heard reports of increased, quote, male energy. Is your male energy increased? Whatever that means to you.
My male energy is fully intact.
There you go.
Let's just put it to you that way. And I'm thankful that it's fully intact.
Perfect. So I was not able personally to watch Vision because I was selling my dragons. Did you get to watch Vision?
Hold on, I have to say something about the male situation.
Okay.
But I'll tell you, and I really do appreciate the fact, and I don't equate my sexual ability or whatever to still operate at this time in my life. I don't equate that to the patches. I really don't. I haven't even thought about it, actually, quite frankly. But except for the time when I was in that downward spiral, I have come back full gas, and I think that we've earned the right at our age to speak about this stuff. You know what I mean? I'm sorry. I can understand teenagers, young people being a little bit wary of it. Look, we've lived the life. Let's share what we've got, and let's share what the deal is. And so I am very fortunate that everything is working, and it's a good question, quite frankly.
So when I wasn't able to watch Vision, I don't know if you were, but I know that David Schmidt announced the new products that are coming out, and I can hardly wait to try the night and day formula supplement. Have you heard about that?
No.
Okay, so there's going to be it's a supplement that supports the daytime patches. So we take it in the morning, and I believe it's a powder that you put in water, and then the night will do for the nighttime patches the same thing. And it is Jan, do you know a little more about it? I'm just kind of vague, but I know it's exciting, and I know that it's got like all of the different minerals and the amounts that our body requires. And it was, Jan?
Yeah, it's got the amino acids, electrolytes, minerals. So instead of going out and buying, copper and this and that, it's just these two formulas, one in the morning, and it's supposed to help your body make the stem cells work even better and faster for a lot of people. It's going to give your body everything it needs to be active.
Oh,
Does
great.
anybody else, Diane, do you have something to add about that?
No, I was going to ask him a different question, but I am hoping that those powdered supplements that we have have enough of the recommended daily allowance so that we can stop taking a lot of the supplements that we take.
Yeah.
I'm sure with David creating it, I'm sure it will be exactly what we need.
My
I do have a-
understanding is it's going to be the complete thing so that, you know, I can ditch all these vitamins are on my bathroom counter and I can just go to that. That's my understanding.
Sheila,
I
he
do have-
also said we can take it even twice a day if we wanted, and the night one's coming out first.
Thank you, Jen. Perfect.
You know what?
Twice-
That's really good because my daughter has the task, and one of her jobs for her allowance is that she has to fill my my weekly vitamin tray, and it takes her 20 minutes. So
Well, I look forward. She'll just be able to say, "Here's your jar of powder, Dad. Here's your spoon."
that's right.
Well, it's funny. Last night at dinner with Marcy and I were talking about that. I go, Marcy, am I going to have to start mailing out little baggies of powder?
Oh gosh, oh Lord, here we go.
She said, no, we're not
Oh my
doing
gosh,
that.
that's
Thank
hysterical.
God. Now I'll really be a druggie. Pat doesn't know.
You're a dealer. Jan's our dealer, our patch dealer. Diane, what's your question for Mr. Sully?
So I know you talked a minute ago about, sharing this with everybody. So I had put it in the chat, but how do other athletes that you're friends with, or how do they feel about when you talk to them about this technology? Are they receptive? Do they want to try it? Do they want to share it? How's that been for you, considering you've been in Lifeway for 4 years?
You know, there's a specific type of athlete that has an open mind to it, that is welcoming to it. I can't tell you how many people or companies or whatever come, even us old guys come to us with their stuff, and that's the thing is the reality of it is I have to be dependable with my information. I have to be reputable with my information if I give you my story. And a lot of the guys are hyper vigilant about needing to maintain their authenticity and their realness. And so that's the hardest thing about this thing. If I'm saying something is great, that you would believe me, not just because I am an NFL football player, but I have an experience with this product that I am willing to put out there. And that's why I have high energy about it, because it's real, because it's what it is. If I wasn't so certain about this, I'd be a lot more quiet, a lot more listening, a lot more not evoking so much energy that because I don't want to put myself out there to be wrong, to be wrong. All I know is it's right for me. This is really right for me. That's why I'm so excited about being with this thing. That's why I'm so excited about helping Jan and helping Sheila and being on their programs and stuff like that, because I have a story to share. And if I help people, then I'm satisfying a calling that I have. That's for sure.
Great, thank you.
You got it.
Your experience after football is all about service, as I read and see, and to me you are a superhero, and for getting out and being willing to share. I totally understand what you're saying about the hypersensitivity and vigilance of their appearance, right? About how they're presented. And just like with anyone that we share with, we wish those people that we know, whether they're friends or family, would do this just because of our amazing results. And I mean, it's got to disappoint you as much as me sometimes when somebody that you can help says, okay, and it's like, okay, fine. Let's still be keeping friends or family or whatever, but don't be bringing your problem to me then. That's how I feel. I don't want to hear about it if you're not going to let me help you.
That's what I'm talking about. And that's the other part to the answer to the question is have I had any success? Yes, I've had a great deal of success with as I've brought people on these programs, my playing mates, Rod Perry, David Hill, and the sort, The guys that, you know, try it and they're just really authentic, they'll try it and they'll give you the honest answer about what's going on. They'll have an experience or they won't. I like being authentic and real, and I like, you know, giving the correct information so that people can really, if I say something, that I can be, you know, giving them the right information. I don't want to give them the wrong information and have them look at me cross-eyed like saying, that guy doesn't, he'll do anything to sell something. No, I'm not. That's not the guy. If I come to you, you know, I'm coming to you with something that's going to be good. And that's why I love this what we're working with is just amazing.
That's why you're not on an Ivory's, it's not the Ivory's Campbell Soup commercial, right?
That's right. That's right. That's right. It isn't. No. I don't mind if I have to stay in the background on everything. My face doesn't have to be anywhere, but putting something in your pocket that's going to help you. And that's the greatest gift of all, is that I'm helping people. That's my calling. I mean, I know it. You know, you know how after you get done with football, that's the thing that you want to do in your lifetime. You know, that's the dream. Most people aspire to their dream so that they eventually get to it, you know, when they're in their middle ages. Well, I started my dream when I was 21 years old, and it was over when I was 32. And so what do you do after you've done what you're supposed to want to do, you know? And helping and serving people, I've discovered, gives me the joy. It gives me the heartfelt, you know, oh man, this is really good. I'm really doing something, for crying out loud. And I'm opening my mouth for the right reason instead of just wanting to listen to myself all the daggone time. I'm actually telling somebody something that can help them. And that's what I love about this stuff. And that's really who I am. And so when I'm coming with you with this information, listen to me. Don't hang the phone up on me. Listen to
Right, because you wouldn't be sharing it if it wasn't real. And that's the feeling, you know, I know you through these calls, Ivory, but energetically, I can feel your frequency. I can tell what kind of a man you are. And you're not gonna share something that's a lie. I just can't feel that from you. You know, you're all about being truthful and upfront and authentic, right? And that's one of the reasons why I enjoy talking with you so much. And Miss Karen's got her hand up over here. She wants in on the talk too.
Ivory, I have a quick question for you. Back a little ways, we had a men's group, and you had done a couple of calls with some sports figures, and
right.
I see a need. I see a need for a men's group. A lot of us women get around and we cluck and we talk. And oh, I'm sorry. And that's my dog. Sorry.
Okay.
Sorry, Amazon. It's not even at our door. It's someone else's. No one can get Amazon but us. I see a need for a men's group. I see men looking for a place to go and ask some of these questions, and a safe place amongst other men, not just, you know, with other women on the call and things like that. And I know my husband got on a couple of them and he kind of enjoyed it. It was a space that he wasn't familiar with. He had never been in before, like a men's group. And I'm just wondering if you see a need for that, and if you know anybody in LifeWave that might maybe want to get something like that together again for us.
Well, you're asking me that question?
Yeah, like, do you see a need for, you know, some calls that are just for men to learn about this product and to learn about health and just taking care of their bodies?
100%, because men are very much different than ladies.
Yeah.
You ladies are tremendous, and a dude, and the more you are a dude's dude, the less you really want to be, you know, talking about, you know, or sharing stuff that will actually help other people. That I've been around guys a long time, right? I've been in the locker room for a long time.
Right.
If it's not about them, it's not about anything. You know, that's the man. That's the man. So if we can get a men's group together, that would send a consistent message that you've got some real dogs in this men's group that really, for crying out loud, have really done it in their lifetime. And they're not just talking the talk, but they actually walking the walk. That's what basically you have to do to get a men's group together. And you know that, right?
I do. I was just curious if you kind of had any people that you know, or, you know, maybe that we start reaching out to within LifeWave that would want to maybe spearhead or start getting that together. Somebody who's really good at facilitating a group like that, or multiple people, multiple men, and just get those conversations going. Because I know when the guys get together, a lot of times it's at the bar to have a beer and have some wings, and rarely are they talking about their health issues, right? They might be talking about their wives' health issues and
You
how
said
it flows over, but they're not talking about theirs, you know? And I feel like health with men right now, almost the only focus I see is on ED. And that's a very important thing in this world. So, but there's other things that are important in men's health. And I just think it's been overlooked for men to kind of get together and have space to discuss that.
Yeah, the comfort zone to discuss that. Because a lot of dudes really don't want to show who they really are. That's the truth of the matter. Let's be honest about it, right? Most of us don't. But I will tell you, you know, Marcy, Jan, Sheila, we'll all talk about it, and I could, you know, we could maybe put a quorum together. That's like, I think why, you know, we've had those situations where we've had multiple men on a call, and it was actually, I thought it was really good. And, you know, to see that these high achieving individuals that have had great careers, you know, that they can feel comfortable talking about this stuff. Okay.
And I've had people inquire recently, men, asking, are there any calls that are for the guys? So, you know, I think it'd be really cool to try and bring that back.
You know, we used to have a men's group, and a guy named Charles was putting it together, and they're trying to get it back. So let me check in with them and see what we can do, and maybe we could do it like once a month, and maybe Ivory could come every once in a while, and I'll see if I can get that ball rolling.
Chan, you may have to do the men's group not recorded.
Okay, that's fine.
A thought, because they would not necessarily want to have their face and be recording some questions. They might be more open if it was something not recorded.
They can always, that's something to consider. I'm of the mind though. I'm of the mind that if I'm going to be facilitating any kind of a call, it gets recorded, because there are people, and I'll tell you what, Ivory, I cannot tell you how many men since September I have shared our call with because of what you just said. All right. And the strong man. And if we don't record that, then we can't share.
That's right. Yeah, you are right. I just thought I would mention it.
Yeah. Or maybe questions at the end after the full talk, maybe some personal questions, the recording stops for that. But I think it's important that we can share.
Maybe people put it into chat privately, just like I'm receiving questions that if you're sending me a question to me directly, I'm not saying your name, right? I'm just saying someone sent it to me. And that way people can feel comfortable asking questions, because, you know, for the most important thing about questions, and I would like everybody to really listen to this and absorb it. And my daddy taught me this 55 years ago, and I'm 60. The only question that is stupid is the question that was never asked.
That's right.
Because somebody else has that same question. And if you could just put the fear aside, you may find an answer, not just for yourself, but for everyone else.
That's right.
That's my.
I'm with that. I'm with that 100%. I am not with a man that a masculine man hiding behind the chair in the living room, for crying out loud, and not wanting to come on here and say what he needs to say. Let's get it done, man. Let's get the job done. Let's not pose like we're somebody, but then we're really nobody, you know? Look, that was the one thing about the NFL that was great. You couldn't fake it. You had to be it. For crying. That, so if I'm
Ivory, you're the one to do it. You need to lead
look,
this.
so look, yeah, if we do this thing, look, just what I just said. If you're going to be here, you better be ready to do it and be real. You know, that's the real deal. Be
They'll
who
be
you
all the better for it, correct? They're going to be all the better for
Yeah,
it.
Of course
For
they
men
will.
to be there and be that. Yeah. Thank you,
One-
Ivy.
Yes.
Well, Jan, do you have any parting questions for our wonderful friend?
No parting questions, but a heartfelt thank you. I'm in so much gratitude to you, Ivory. I really do love you. And I am so lucky to have the relationship that I have with you. I don't take it for granted. And I really appreciate your time that you spent with us today. It really means a lot to me. I know it does to Sheila and everybody else on the call. So I love you, Ivory. You know, I feel like I was with us from day one when I was laying on the bed with Marcy. I remember the phone call. I remember the follow-up calls. I remember mailing you the patches. And I am just eternally grateful to you and our relationship. Thank you.
That's the real deal right there. I love you too, Jan. I love all you. You guys got a great group, man. You guys have got the fire. There is something special in this thing, and I want to be part of it. There's no doubt about that. So whenever you need me, you call me. You hear me?
I just love you, my brother.
There you
And
go. Just speaking
I have
for
one important question. Okay. First off, there's a couple of comments real quick. Wow, could you believe the Lions this year? And who are you rooting for on Sunday?
That's a really good
Oh,
question.
where's it me?
That's a great question. Okay, first of all,
Look, my sister just put the same exact question in chat. We are like total psychic together. She's downstairs. I'm up here. It's crazy.
could I believe the Lions? Yes, I could. I believe in their head coach. He tells it like it is. That's why I like this. That's the same thing that we were just talking about having a men's group, for crying out loud. We're not afraid to call it out and put it on the table. That's how you get and make the move to the next level, is if you put it all out there. And I'm going to tell you, the Lions will probably still be playing today if freaking head coach didn't go ahead and take a chance. He should have just kicked the daggone thing, and then we'd be tied. We'd still be playing in overtime right now, for crying out loud. So anyway, look, I love him. I love who that guy is. You know, you got to learn how to pull it back sometime and, you know, take the points that are there. But we would be tied right now today, for crying out loud. Anyway, sorry, San Francisco 49ers. I can't ever take you, my friend.
Oh, my heart. Oh.
Here's the reason why. We've had too many battles. Joe Montana, the days where it was fire, man. I mean, between the Rams and the Niners, man,
Right.
and I loved the rivalry. I loved it, you know. But quite
Yes.
frankly, you know, I just, it bothers me when they're celebrating, you know, because they would be celebrating over us a lot of the time, you know, for crying out loud. I don't know about wanting the Chiefs to win it again. You know, I could go through a renaissance. I could actually grow after this Super Bowl, quite frankly, and give the 49ers a little bit of an opportunity to say, okay, I'm with you guys. So let's keep it.
Brock Purdy, man. What a man. Okay, he has stepped up this year. He has developed it. And, you know, I got to tell you, I had 3 NFL fantasy leagues this year that I was in. I went all the way to the first playoff game in 2 of them in first place, and then Purdy crapped the bed on me. I got 3rd in the 2 leagues and 7th in the 3rd league. So the main reason I'm a 49er fan is my husband was born in Frisco, and life is a lot easier in the house if you like Frisco, you know. And then one last parting question.
Hold on. One thing I gotta say. Remember the
Okay.
question. Brock Purdy is my man. I love him. He comes from the same place that he was one draft choice ahead of me because after I wasn't drafted, I was a free agent. So I dig him. He is the true grit, man. He's earned it. Nothing comes for free. I love him and his grittiness and making it happen. Love that guy.
And he was picked in the 7th round. The other guys, the 6 quarterbacks that went before him this season.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're not doing nothing. And look at Brock. Okay, my final football question, and then I'm going to let you go. Is Belichick going to get picked up as a coach, or is he done?
Hard for him to get a job. You know the reason why?
Why?
He ran the whole deal in New England. He can't go to another place and have less responsibility. But also, quite frankly, he's getting up there, in the age. And, that much responsibility, it's so hard to manage a football team. But he was head of personnel. He was basically, he didn't do the contracts though, but he was the head of football. He really actually coached the defense. Belichick's always a defensive mind, and he's the guy overseeing the defense, for crying out loud, with that team. And he had so much responsibility that I don't think there's a team out there that will save a position for him to take over all those positions. And he is the guy, he's an alpha, he's a definite alpha and alpha male, and he probably wouldn't accept anything less, quite frankly. I think he should. He deserves it. He's been a freaking icon, for crying out loud.
Right.
I've known him ever since he coached with the Giants, and he was making comments about Ivory Sully and how I played. Not that my name came out of his mouth was a blessing, man. I'm telling you, I couldn't believe he made so I did something right. Belichick talked about it. That's great. But yeah,
that is great. I'm of the same mind as you. I think that there's a lot of talking heads that are just trying to, get his favor by saying and propping him up. But I think that he's, come on, you've earned it. Take a retirement now. Do something.
Yeah, it's hard. Yeah, definitely.
And maybe we get him into LifeWave, right?
Hey, let's go, Bill. That's right, baby.
Well, thank you, Ivory. Thank you, everyone, for joining this. We are going to end this phone call now. You, as always, are one of my favorites, and I look forward to having you back here again real soon.
You can call me anytime, Sheila. Love you guys.
Love you.
Take care.
Bye. Thank you, Ivory.
All right, y'all. Bye. Bye.